WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Kanosuke Single Malt Japanese whiskey. A shout out to Mac at Casktype Whiskey. In case I do this video before you've done it, yay! Go watch his channel to find out the real information about this. Here you get the information that I found online. Whiskybase number 227762. So over here we have, this was released in Japan in January, the end of January 2023. So this was bottled, if I can see the bottle code here, online it says it was bottled on the 18th of January 2023. I don't see a code here, but that might be right. And it costs over in Germany 74 euros. So now, if you can see the top here, you'll notice something's weird. What happened? I had opened this twice to pour out samples to fill up for other people, and the third time, it broke off. I mean, it's a clear break. So, oh well. So I'm just gonna fill up all the samples of all the people, and then the bottle can be maybe sent to a whiskey museum here in Germany so that they can talk about Japanese whiskey, but we do need a different cork. All right, very good. This is the distillery. Oh, there is a nice little QR code. So if you can QR code that from your screen, that's going to be really nice. Unfortunately, it's all in Japanese, but luckily we do have something called a Google Translator. And so Google does translate everything for us if you know how. And this is Mellowed Whiskey. I don't know if last time I did one of these, I did the 2022 limited edition with 59%. That was a 150 euro bottle. Now we're at half that price, 48%. And it does say on the bottle as well as on the box, I'll just show you the box, non-chilled filtered. Nowhere is there any mention that I can find here on the bottle or on the box about natural color. Now, in the box, I thought this was so cool. Never had this before. There was a little business card, and it's in Japanese. Luckily, on the other side is in English. It says here, we chose not to chill filter our single malt Kanosuke to enjoy our original flavor of whiskey. No dot. Yeah, there's a dot. You might occasionally see a slight haze in our product, but no worry about the quality we have prepared. If so, please turn the bottle upside down and enjoy the original flavor of our single malt Kanosuke. So, non-chilled filtered, very nice. 48%, very nice. 75 euros. So, my question of the day is, Japanese whiskey. For the last 3 years, I cannot remember a single Japanese whiskey I've had where I've been excited about it. Every single Japanese whiskey I've tried for the last 3 years, I might be wrong, but in my experience so far, they have all been overpriced and they've underdelivered. So, what is your opinion of Japanese whiskey? Now, the Yamazaki 12 just re-arrived in Germany, 160 euros. No, thank you. I'm not going to buy it. Anything that makes its way from America to the shores of Germany, I'm going to try to buy. Anything from Ireland that makes it to Germany, I'm going to try to buy. I will pick and choose what I can buy from Scotland since I have a plethora, a word I do not use very often, of choices that are just amazing, and I'll try to choose those. There's so much in Germany. I do have a German podcast about German whiskey. So I'm fairly well up to date about what's going on here. And I know about a lot of things. I don't try them all, but I know about them. Those are the 4 countries that I really, really pay a lot of attention to in the whiskey world. Things from Canada, good stuff doesn't make it over here to Europe. If there were, I would buy more. France, I'm watching them. They're doing interesting things, but I'm not going to buy everything, but I look at them and I go, interesting. Austria is doing some interesting things, but I've been burnt a few times by some very badly made Austrian whiskeys. Italy's doing, with Puni and other places, doing interesting things. Up in Scandinavia, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, interesting things going on there. New Zealand and Australia, also interesting. I'm watching, I'm trying, I'm reviewing some things. Japanese is almost like French whiskey for me. It's like, okay, I'm going to watch and see. We used to have Nikka, we used to have Suntory. Those are the two big and almost the only two big brands that were there with different distilleries. Now we have 40, almost 50 plus new distilleries that are coming up. Chichibu would be one example that's made it around the world already. Now we have Kanosuke, that is also very, very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing. All right, now according to the history of the company here, this is interesting. Making Japanese whiskey even richer and milder. Somehow my translation of the word richer doesn't really work all the time from Japanese into German or Japanese into English. Okay, this distillery is located on the Hoiki City, Kagoshima Prefecture, on the southernmost tip of the mainland Japan. One of the longest beaches of the southern part of Japan is right in front of the distillery, and so it's very, very close to the coast, so you get a lot of information there, a lot of influence from the weather. I'm not sure if all the warehousing is there, but that's okay. The parent distillery was founded in 1883, and then they actually started this distillery 2017, started distilling 2018, basically. And they have 3 pot stills. The one is a wash still, one is used exclusively as a spirit still, and the one in the middle sometimes is used as a wash still, sometimes as a spirit still. I don't understand that system either. All right, so now in January 2023, this was actually released. This is a mellow whiskey that you can feel. Kanosuke. I'm still not pronouncing it right. I always forget how to pronounce this correctly. And I'm very, very, very bad about that. Let's listen to Mac real quick.
You will. And I was right. Welcome to Casktype Planet. I'm Mac, bringing you the world of Japan's drinks direct from the heart of Tokyo. And today, we're taking a look at Single Malt Kanosuke.
Kanosuke. Wow, Jason. I hope you heard some of that. All right, so I'm just, don't do that a lot, but every once in a while, Kanosuke. I have to put it down, write it so I can remember. So Single Malt Kanosuke is a mellow whiskey that you can feel the Kanosuke Distillery by making use of Kosho's traditional distillation and barrel storage techniques, cultivated in the production of the Mellowed Kozuru, which was built with the concept of using non-peated malt, vatting multiple barrels with the key of unblended whiskey aged in American white oak richer casks, watered to 48%, and a non-chill filtered and bottled. So the phrase white oak richer casks follows me through the entire description. So I don't know what richer casks are. Even in German, it was exactly the same translation as in English. What is rich? What are rich casks? So full-bodied cask. Yes, exactly. American oak full-bodied casks. American oak deeply flavored cask, but richer. All right. So this whiskey does not undergo any cooling filtration that you can enjoy the original flavor. Therefore, floating matters of flavoring ingredients may be seen, but this is no problem with quality. So slightly shake the whiskey to allow the flavor components to blend in the whiskey. Please enjoy this special flavor is what it says. So then in the malt, they say here non-peated malt, peated malt. Up above, they talked about using non-peated malt, but here they talk about non-peated and peated. I don't get much peat. I don't get any peat. So they're using yeast, distillery yeast. Now the pot still, copper distiller, not distillery. I'm an English teacher and I'm not great at English, but still. Miyaki Zaisakushu is apparently the distiller. And they have a 6,000 liter first distillation kettle, 3,000 liter second distillation, 1,600 liters. What is the 1,600 liters? Is that what you had left over? Is that what you actually bottled or barreled? What does the 1,600 liter mean here? And the storage barrel, multiple American white oak richer casks as key barrel vatting. The joys of not understanding the language things were written in. If you've only spoken English your whole life, you have no idea. So, all right, what am I going to compare it to? I don't have very much Japanese whiskey at all left here. So I pulled out something just because I have it and just because I thought the bottle and the coloring design was a little bit similar. Nikka Days. This is a 40% smooth and delicate blended whiskey from Nikka. And it does say here on the back that it's a product of Japan, but before the rules in 2021 changed, I had already bought this bottle, so who knows. All right, so that's that. But I have the feeling at the moment, Japanese whiskey sells more due to its labeling than to its quality of product. Screw top, which is very, very common in Japanese whiskey. And I would have preferred a screw top. Remember my cork? So on the nose, the color should be tortoise shell candy. What is tortoise shell candy? All right. On the nose, I should be getting honey, banana, lemon tea, and caramel. Now I like the nose. The nose is actually interesting. I get a malted barley, get barley sugars, I get vanilla, I get a little bit of a elderberry moment, and a little bit of a white cranberry, not white cranberry, a white currant. And then there's this weird moment coming out where it's almost like a yeasty type of moment. And then it's almost like, I'm going to say this, a very poor quality brandy. So now I'm not saying that these casks that might have been used here, so where was this here? Shochu, that's poor quality brandy, but that's what I'm getting. All right. Now, this has a youthfulness, a little bit of grain moment, a little bit of like nail polish remover, and a tiny, tiny little bit of a metallic note to it. This is something I'd use as a mixer. This is not something I pour it on ice and don't worry about it and drink it, but this is not something I would ever gravitate towards voluntarily. All right? So that puts it into a category of avoid if possible. All right. 48%, I commend you for non-chilled filtered. Would love to see natural color on here. I assume it's natural color, but it does have a little bit of a darkness to it that I wasn't expecting. How old? It's in Europe. It's whiskey. It's 3 years at minimum. The distillery is 5 years of age. So basically 2018, they really started making products. So maximum 5 years of age. I'm guessing this is a 4-year-old product. 74 euros, 4 years of age from Japan, 48%. All right, cheers. Kanpai. It's definitely different. There's something going on in there that is not what I like. The 48%, there's a little bit of heat, there's a little bit of youth, there's a little bit of sharpness in there, but that's, what else can you expect? There's a little bit of menthol. There is a sweetness, but there's also a little bit of a sourness, almost like a yeast moment going on in there. Now it says here I should be getting a tastes include Karin candy. Wow. Karin, Karin candy. Every time I hear the name Karin, who knows? Cinnamon, ginger. I do get ginger and faintly smoked nuts. The mouthfeel is nice. There is an oiliness to this. There is a certain viscosity there. That's good. The finish, the afterglow is what they call it. But we do something in Germany very, very similar. We call it the echo. Nachklang, Nachhall. So, nach after, the after sound, the afterglow. So, elegant, sweet, bitterness lasts gently for a long time. Yeah, there is a nice long, a fair, like I said, get rid of the word nice, a fairly long finish here. Um, this just it goes. This is mainstream that I like with my single malts, and this is over here, and there are going to be people that are really, really going to enjoy this. Um, I did mention a little bit on my German video about having a tiny little bit of a not yet ripe star fruit, a not yet ripe lychee. These are very exotic flavors, a little bit tropical. Um, it's unique, but just not my cup of tea. So I'm gonna give it a C minus. Value for money, D. Am I going to go out and go buy a new one for 75 euros? Definitely not. Am I disappointed I bought this? No. I am keen on what's going on in Japan a little bit. I do watch a little bit and do see a little bit, but I'm not ordering Japan whiskey directly from Japan in any way or manner. Often, and this is what really surprised me, often in the past, every single bottle of Japanese whiskey I get in Europe says Le Maison de Whisky, Paris, France. This says imported by their own name, Amsterdam, Netherlands. So they're not going the traditional way over France. They're actually going in here their own way. And I think Diageo is the driving force behind that. Diageo says, hey, I have a minority stake in the company anyways. Let's get this product out there. Let me be your distribution partner. I'll show you, help you, direct you, guide you, and we'll use my channels there. And I think that's great. I think we're going to learn a lot about this. Now, is that good for the company? Is it good for Europe? Is it good for the world that Diageo is buying into these smaller companies and maybe influence them to be more quality instead of quantity instead of quality? Sorry, I almost got that wrong. We'll see. I think there'd be worse partners you could be with here together. Put a little bit of water in this. Let's see what happened. I'm looking for a word. This is not perfect, but I'm still going to use it. Kimchi, Korean coleslaw. Now, there are many different types of kimchi, but it's a fermented coleslaw. And I'm getting that yeast fermentation, and it's weird. It's different. It's unusual. And my brain keeps on going to my Korean friends that would bring their kimchi. That's 30 years ago. And I would try it, and there's that spiciness to it, but then there's this unique flavor there. It's not perfectly aligned, but it's like the closest my brain knows about it. All right, good. So, first question of the day, has anyone else bought any of these bottles and had cork problems? Second question of the day is Japanese whiskey. Is it something you're also avoiding? Is it something you're just looking at from the sidelines and going, okay, let's wait and see? Is it something you're dabbling in a little bit, or is it something you're absolutely fantastically excited about? And then you must have very, very deep pockets. All right, so what is your involvement with Japanese whiskeys? Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing. Oh, let's take just a comparison real quick. The Nika Days, all right, cheap stuff. I think 35 euros over here in Germany. 0.7 liter, 700 milliliter bottle as well, luckily. 40%. If I had to choose one of these two to drink all night long, I would go here. And that says a little bit. Yeah, it's got the sweetness of the grain. It's got a little bit like a paddy moment with a tiny little bit of sweetness added to it. Pirate Paddy, Irish whiskey. I like good grain, so this is what I would go to instead of that. But hey, maybe I have very bad tastes in whiskey. Who knows? Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others, and don't forget to write down your opinion about Japanese whiskey. Bye-bye.